me, they can get all of us. He is standing in the way, and that can sound like a campaign slogan, but it's very true.
Now we're approaching the most important battle of our lives.
Now, for the very first time in American history, a sitting president's DOJ has indicted his top political rival ahead of a presidential campaign.
When they indicted me for nothing, I said, now the gloves are off. Now we have to say if I can see the crook.
Now we're approaching the most important battle of our lives.
If you fuck around with us, if you do something bad to us, we are going to do things to you that have never been done before.
You told me you were drowning. I would not lend a hand. I've seen your face before, my friend. But I don't know if you know who I am. Well, I was there and I saw what you did. I saw it with my own two eyes. So you could wipe off that grin. I know where you've been. It's all been a pack of lies.
If you have a problem with someone, you have to go after them. And it's not necessarily to teach that person a lesson. It's to teach all of the people that are watching a lesson.
The last time we ever met. But I know the reason why you keep me silent.
When we get back in the White House, I will totally obliterate the deep state.
The hurt doesn't show, but the pain still grows. Some strangers to you and me. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord, I've been waiting for this moment all my life. Oh Lord.
When we get back power, I don't really want to have peace with these people who did this to us and are continuing to do this to us. We have to turn the tables on them, give them a dose of their own medicine, and then we can even the playing field, and then we can discuss unity.
Welcome everyone, CaptKyle here, and we are at the end game, and we have a special show for today. And today we have some special guests. This is really not my show for today. It's actually SG and was brought into this, and we're streaming across everybody's platforms right now. And with that, the show basically is about some lawsuits and some issues that's happened over in Greece, and basically how that affects us worldwide and globally with the humanitarian issues. And with that, SG, Scott McKay, we have Yanis and Melina, and Scott, and I guess SG, it's your show, SG, so I'll turn it over to you, and we'll go from there. And I did get that copied link in the PDF form, and if you need, I can bring it up anytime.
It's fantastic, Captain. I really appreciate it, and thank you for agreeing to host today. We ended up doing it through that platform for the audience out there because it was the most seamless fashion to bring this conversation together. Yeah, but Giannis and I have communicated a number of different times over the last 12 to 15 months or so. He and Melina have been actively involved as essentially the only group on the ground in Greece attempting to combat the COVID-19 criminality against humanity and the out and out government shameless tyranny that's been happening, to our Grecian brothers and sisters. And that's something that we're realizing, I think, across the entirety of the developed world, is that we are all primarily the same. So I'm excited to have the show today. I want to thank Giannis and Melina for coming on, and I want to thank the Patriot Street Fighter as well as you, Captain, for helping to make sure that we have a really good amplified discussion today. There's some hopeful things on the ground, happening on the ground there in Greece, and some of those things could potentially offer us a template as we go forward with respect to the European Union, the laws of war, and really getting the, as Scott McKay would say, the scumbags out there, really helping them to see justice. So thank you all for being here.
Good to be here. I'm finally on the show with Giannis, but I got to tell you, you talk about a Patriot Street Fighter in Greece. This is a guy, and obviously, if there was a sideline compatriot, is probably Melina, a Catwoman to Batman, probably. You have been, and Giannis, I just went down through. I don't use WhatsApp. I know people try to always connect me on WhatsApp, but I have so many connection points where people try to get me messages. I haven't had a Facebook Messenger message I've answered maybe 3 in 2 years out of 10,000. But I just saw your text this morning in there when I went in there, like, what up, man? How come you don't return my calls? You need a direct line to me, a direct call, direct text message. But the times that I had talked to you, and it's been a while, but I do remember, they've come after you in every way, shape, or form. If that happened in this country, and it has, but somebody of your profile, there'd be total outrage. They've shut you down, shut down business. I don't know what other things they've stolen from you, but you've paid a heavy financial price for standing your ground in Greece. And people, in this country, you need to understand, this battle isn't just in America. There are people suffering in countries all over the world that you do not hear about that are fighting this battle and paying a massive price. And if anything, will give you an inclination that humanity is rising. This show likely will, because we have our friends from Greece doing battle at great cost in a country like Greece where there's massive oppression. It's happening in many countries around the world. So we are rising, getting a chance for the folks today to hear your story. That's what we're doing here today is going to be very important.
And the situation is that what we're witnessing is lawfare, and the lawfare that's being comprised against the people of the world, because the deep state and the cabal, this organization of basically just a cabal, because that's what they are, of a power structure that does not want to give up, and they do not want to let go. Even though we know we have won, it's just a matter of having to go through the process. We've witnessed it here in the United States with many people. It's still going on. I'm going through it myself with different issues with the legal courts. And, it will be a bright day for all of us when we all stand together around the world and say enough is enough. And that's where we're at today. And that's one of the things we're trying to expose is the lawfare that's going on, and that we're the ones that have control over that. These issues are not something that the court can have over us as a collective, just as individuals, and that's it. That's where they get their power, individually and not as a collective, and we need to come together.
Amen. Well said. So before we move on, I just want to give Giannis and Melina a chance, if we could. They're probably meeting a lot of our audiences today for the first time. And again, it's a real pleasure to have you all on. Thank you for being the boots on the ground on behalf of your entire culture. That's not lost on me for certain, and I don't think it's lost on a lot of patriots there in Greece. But can you all give us a background for the English-speaking audience? What's been going on with respect to your lawsuit maneuvers and actually happening on the ground in Greece over the last 3 to 5 years?
Yes, thank you. First of all, hello SG, hello CaptKyle, and hello Scott. Thank you for it's our pleasure for being here this show to discuss so serious thing, worldwide thing. And so, Melina, if you like to start, it's your turn. And
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for your time and for having us. And first of all, I would like to grab the opportunity to thank President Trump for celebrating the Greek Independence Day on March 25th in the White House. And it is the subject of independence and freedom what brings us here today. And because the whole of humanity has never seen real independence and freedom. And Yanis, during 2020, 2021, and 2022 was collecting, doing all the research and collecting the first evidence. And so finally in the end of 2022 and in January of 2023, he filed a class action lawsuit against all those responsible for the COVID crime, which consists of how many pages, Yanni?
It's about 1,400. It's two. Here I have the documents. The
So
two
he
Bibles.
collected all the
It's
scientific
the two
evidence.
Bibles. And it's very.
From all the countries, from
Both.
all scientists about COVID crime.
It's two. Not only. And this evidence is till 2023. We have many from them
Yeah,
this
so
year.
there's recent data as well he has collected, but this is the lawsuit he filed in January of 2023. So what happened then is that because there's a corrupt legal system and...
But, sorry, Melina, but first I need to, for people that don't know me and you and here in Greece, as we discussed in the previous shows with SG and some private talk with Scott, people need to know that we are already sent to all the governments in 2021 emails, thousands of emails to inform them about this COVID scam, and that says it's a fake pandemic, to avoid the COVID restrictions and measures that harm the health and to protect our children. And nobody hear us, nobody replied to us, nobody did something. But government tries to suppress my speech to, of course, I'm not saying about social media and the YouTube and our channel and the but they try to suppress me through the judges, and I have two court cases about spreading misinformation over the internet, and I won these cases. In one is the first case is at November 23, and the second is at March of 2024. But before that, after nobody listened to me and nobody started making something against all the measures about the government, the teachers, the schools, everybody, the head administrations of the school boards. So I said that we have to do something practically to stop that. So my thought is to make a lawsuit before my court and start try to communicate with people here in Greece, because many of the people wants to fight against that because of the lockdown, because of the restriction of in schools, with the mask mandates of with the children, the PCR test, all of this fraud. And I did a call to the people to collect money and file a big lawsuit against our government, against all of these criminals that put all these restrictions against. So after that,
basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we feel it. We on January of 2023, but we are waiting 2 years, almost 2 years, and nobody take care of that. Nobody.
So it was pending for 2 years.
Yes.
And nobody cared.
And, yes.
So when you say that you filed it, I just want to interrupt here if I could, and I apologize there, Giannis, but I'm going somewhere with this. You said you filed this lawsuit initially This lawsuit's 1,400 pages. You held up a binder a moment ago that was positively enormous. You said that lawsuit draws from a number of different areas all around the planet. Can you explain that first of all? And then I want to ask you about the timeline of the lawsuit's actual filing.
What is this a lawsuit we talked about quite some time ago? Giannis, I know you were somewhere on the edge of this. So has this lawsuit has it moved forward, or is this something you're in the process of doing now?
Look, yes.
It was pending for 2 years, and recently it got rejected by the court due to
procedural reasons.
Yeah.
Yes, correct. Yes. So we are again here with a new lawsuit, the same lawsuit, but with more evidences, the newer evidences, to fill it again and fill it correct, and to avoid all of this technical mistake that did by
let me help you out.
Okay.
So
yes.
What happened is that he filed the lawsuit, and it was pending for 2 years. And then we discovered that the lawyers, his attorneys, who did the filing, intentionally omitted some obligatory steps they should have done. Plus, they had filed it to the wrong court.
Of course.
It was sabotaged.
Yes,
correct.
It should have been filed to the Council of the Territory, a regular administrative court, and they filed it to civil court.
Okay. Thank you for that, Melina. Melina, can I ask you as well, just for the audience out there, because a lot of the audience off of CaptKyle's stream and Mr. McKay's stream, they may be hearing about this for the first time. That's a very big lawsuit. Can you give us some quick headliners? What are the big things that are being presented in this lawsuit against the Grecian government?
So what's being presented is from the beginning of 2020, all the measures, all the scientific research about PCR, the injection, all the medical scientific research from scientists from all over the world.
First of all, Melina, I'm sorry. First of all, is we say that this COVID-19 is bio warfare war. It's premeditated. It's the first thing. It was planned to kill, to genocide. Second is that about the lockdowns, that is imprison on our houses, destroy our business, everything. It's psychological, everything. It's also the mask mandates, special at small ages, the children's, and of course PCR tests and jabs that already wrote about jabs that will kill people during and mid-term of 2021 with legal documents, and I sent it officially to the responsibles of our country. And that's the point, that all of this collected with the evidences and fill it on this big lawsuit. And we waiting for 2 years, and they rejected because of the sabotage that Mr. Kelly said before. And that is the problem with the justice and the lawyers, maybe around the world. But we have a big hope with Donald Trump that and all of this new era coming and new liberation coming to find the correct justice, not from our country inside, but from out of our country, from United States or America. It's better call America. And so that's the point. We ask for help from your country, America, from the alliance, to help us here, because we have many problems. And of course, we have to see, to believe, but there are many people that can't afford that. It's too much, too many years. We have this, and we have also the fake patriots here. We have many fake we have a big mess in this country.
Many different obstacles.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
Captain, your audience is probably familiar with this. I think you've probably fielded this before. Can you speak a little bit to why the violations of Geneva and international law are so important to consider?
Yes.
Yeah, because how things have been basically coerted away from the public's lawfare and actually done correctly is they subverted all the jurisdictions. And right now, what's happening in the United States and in DC is they're actually reestablishing the correct jurisdictions so that the courts can actually operate correctly and not under the crown and under a rule of commerce under the basically where you're looking at it being all golly, what the word I'm looking for is maritime, and that's how it's been operated. And so you have to take that out of the maritime court, which is a commerce court that has absolutely nothing to do with the public affairs of people, but it has to do with business and commerce through the maritime law. And that has nothing, that is a commercial lawfare. And when we're trying to operate in a commercial lawfare situation, we're going to be subverted and lose because it is not designed for people to participate in. Never was. That's why for us to even participate in that arena, we have to have a straw man. Our straw man actually is our second identity to actually be operated within that commercial environment, which is all corporate. You have to be able to eliminate that corporate structure out of the legal system and set up correct jurisdictions. And right now, the United States is in the process of reestablishing the correct jurisdictions so that once those jurisdictions are actually reestablished, then we can take those jurisdictions globally as they're supposed to be. That is how it's having to work. And that's why they are doing the things in which they're doing so quickly right now with Donald Trump and the military, because the military is in control of the highest jurisdiction. And so that's what they're operating in right now. And we are under martial law around the world, whether people realize it or not. There may not even be a martial law established within your country, but under international jurisdiction, there is. And that's what we're operating in right now.
That's why I'm pushing the people to come together and fill those documents, the lawsuits and complaints against this criminal government and with against everybody that tries to suppress our freedom, our liberation. You know, it's they try to fight. They try to kill us till right now. We have big problem.
Very well said. I've got a quick comment I want to make with what Captain said just a moment ago with respect to jurisdiction, and we talk about this on the audio files periodically as well. You know, we need to look only, you know, as far back as Trump's recent public inauguration on the 20th of January, 2025, and the marching of the redcoats before the President of the United States of America to understand that jurisdiction at an international commercialized level, in other words, at a financial and commercial level, which has been the highest jurisdiction operating here in the world for a long time. Granted, that's an inversion. We all sort of understand that, but that has been the main apex for a long time. That has now changed. And so there are components within those jurisdictional levels that are driving changes which will eke into all of our nation state borders. And with that, I'm going to leave that over to Mr. McKay to sort of weigh in on the conversation so far.
Yeah, I'm very curious. Are you seeing anything like that, Giannis, in your country where people are starting to understand the difference between the crown law that they put all of us under? Do they get that in Greece? And there's a common law structure that was once probably prominent even in hundreds of years ago in Greece and no longer exists. Is there that dichotomy there? People have
I
an
think
understanding of this.
people don't understand about this. If you mean about the strawman, no, they don't know about that. They don't know about what happened, and maybe, sorry, they don't know generally that all the country um, uh, is obey, were obey like that, because this ends the last years from the crown, from Pope, the Rome, and Washington D.C. So this is like a story, like a myth here. They don't know about the strawman. They don't know like the fiction of our identity, and that's why they believe to the lawyers. They believe to the system, and they know. But also, this system has the partners, the lawyers. They try to hide the truth and do things like that, like this sabotage with this lawsuit, and so many tricky things to make us to have a depth. We are in many years we are involved in a debt that never we can pay. So this is the system. This is the whole cabal system. It's how to say, Melina.
As a country, Yanis means as a country that we're all in debt. Yeah.
Yes, it's not only Greece. It's global. This is all. Yes.
They've convinced people that we need hundreds of years to get out of debt, and nobody.
That's why.
But I think, Melina, the hope, at least we have here, is that the U.S. is pretty much the first country that we're going to see these powers be toppled, right? And we've followed the QOP for years while it was unfolding. We've continued to tie that information forward to events that continue to happen today to try to get a clear picture of its authenticity, which people like myself and CaptKyle and SG ANON know without question that this obviously is an operation. And our belief in terms of what we've also been clued in on is that this is ground zero. This is where it's going to happen. And then once it does, then other countries around the world, Europe, I believe, is going to be number 2. So SG, you can correct me on that. But other continents, countries around the world are going to, in my opinion, follow suit in a very quick fashion and probably at a growing geometric rate. I mean, look at just what Doge has done in the United States. All of a sudden, within weeks, countries around the world are going after and exposing the massive theft of the people's wealth and money and all this corruption. I mean, you have probably 15 countries around the world that are doing the same thing because there's a precedent set. So, and I've said this to other people in other countries around the world. It is easy for us to say that here because we have guns. We've got the Second Amendment, and that's also a disadvantage we have here because everybody sits back waiting for basically Armageddon at their doorstep before they're willing to project that kind of power. Not that I want to see that from our center point either, us taken to the streets with weapons. It's not necessary. We've got the numbers in every country. But the fact that you don't have that capability, that's the heartbreak that I live with, knowing that over there you don't have that capability and they can push you as far as they do. And so, but I will say this, it's easy to say, but you have to hang in there and continue the fight because I believe we are on the brink of toppling the first wave of this criminal empire here. And that's going to embolden the people because what's next. Let's face it, all over the world, people are dancing in the streets more than they did even with Reagan in the 80s that Trump was elected to power. And busts and paintings and streets named after Reagan all over the world will be dwarfed in comparison to Donald Trump's image worldwide because the world knows he is the axis with which this operation spins on. And because we can do it here, it's going to export itself around the world at scale and with speed. That's what I believe happening. So there's a reason, even though you've been in this multi-year fight and it sometimes seems like it's never going to happen, I assure you it is going to happen. And when it comes, it's going to be a sledgehammer mounted on the front of a freight train. These people, they see it happening in the States. They're already running for cover. You look at Google searches in DC now that Doge started. The three main Google searches are real estate agents. SG, you and Kaplan would know this. Real estate agents came in offshore.
Criminal defense attorneys.
Criminal defense attorneys. What does that tell you? People want to sell their shit, get out of Dodge, and back their play with a criminal defense attorney because they know it's coming. So,
yeah, can I expand on that real quick?
Yeah.
So what you're seeing here is that each country around the world is going to witness those actual events taking place here. And as they do, then each country will begin to be empowered because of the knowledge that it's going to be released that has to do with the financial system, the corruption within it, the political players that are involved in it, and the child trafficking and the criminal element that has to do with that. This whole setup with the Epstein files, the MLK, and so on and so forth, basically those are being put out there in a specific manner and order on purpose so that when they expose the truths about what really is going on with the country heads of state, these individuals across the country and how they're all tied together in it is going to bring the people the ability to stand up and say, enough is enough, no more. And the military is already positioned with the militaries all around the world to give that support, like Scott was saying about us having the financial, the firearm means and things here. You won't need them there because those individuals are very few. The police and those individuals know that the situation is that when they get told how things are going to go from a military standpoint, they will understand immediately to fall on the right side. It's like right now, if we had any kind of concern that something was truly not the way it was supposed to be in the United States, Donald Trump could get out, make an announcement and say, hey guys, I need you to take over each one of your cities in a matter of, hours, we would be done. But that's not the case because that does not need to happen because they are doing those very things. And as the people around the world are going to witness exactly these events taking place, the information being put out there. And the reason that the Epstein is the last top part of that is because it has ties to Israel, it has ties to the cabal, it has to do with the Khazarians, and are embedded in absolutely everything and how they use their honeypot situation to blackmail, control, and embed themselves in absolutely every country around the world. And the reason that you can't release that, because they are on international RICO charges that are being brought up against all of these individuals. And when it's time to go down, they are going down very quickly. The military last year did an exercise where they did an operational exercise in all time zones around the world simultaneously. That was the preparation of the actual RICO being released internationally to grab these people all at one time. And when that happens, people are going to feel like that they have the ability to now stand up and they are participating in the freedom of their own country. That's what's important because every countryman has to feel like that they had some participation in their own freedom. And that's what's coming.
Yes. But let me say something about Greek people here. Everything is right, and but the people here don't try to search the truth and don't just believe everything of all of this. We said about you said before about Epstein files. They don't believe about Epstein files. They say, "Oh, it's okay. That's in U.S., not in Greece, and that's just stories." Who? And we try to explain them what happened, and don't believe. They don't believe about the deep underground military bases, the child trafficking, the Hollywood, the Disneyland, whatever, and they just call us. Stupid people, crazy people, because they don't see that, because they believe just only the media, because they want to believe just to see on the television. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
that's happening all over the world, because I talk to people all over the world, and I speak German, for instance. That's really happening in Germany
Yes.
as well, and in other countries. People want to tell me, I want to see proof. That's what they say, but they don't do any research.
Yes, but the problem, Melina, I'm sorry, but the problem is here in Greece is that they focus only in very small things and not for the human rights that
Yeah,
the other countries do. This is the problem in Greece. We have a serious problem here. The people here focus only on their money, to have money, whatever, small things.
yes, they're very, very focused on their day-to-day life only. That's
Yes,
true.
the
I think
problem
the
is,
two of you are actively describing the reason that the Great Awakening has swept the world in the fashion that it has,
of
right?
course,
This
of
is
course, of
this is
course.
a spiritually driven process, and I think things like, your lawsuit, for example, Giannis, is a byproduct of a much greater spiritual process that occurred within your own life, and walk and personal journey and experience. And I think that's one of the lighthouses, if you will, one of the torches, for lack of a better term, that is going to help drive some of these things occurring on the ground in Greece and some of this transformative behavior. We're witnessing two separate factions of all of our societies. And gentlemen, correct me if I'm wrong, and Miss Molina, correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like we're witnessing a faction that is focused entirely on attempting to implode the household that they're now being ushered out of, that they're now being demonstrably shown publicly they're not welcome in, that this is not the correct way of doing things. And then you have the other side that wants to simultaneously administer some justice for that, but also maintain and really amplify and deepen the international border ties and the cross-boundary ties that we have with one another, because we really are a collective human race, right? These globalists in all of our respective countries constitute, on average, less than 2 to 3% of the entirety of the population. So you have a 98% sidelining that has gone on, and a huge component of that 98%, even here in the United States, throughout this recent election period, and certainly in the post-inaugural period 2025, they're sort of being, ushered along kicking and screaming, but ushered along nonetheless. And I think that's how this, broader process has begun affecting everybody, including the Grecian people.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
And we
It's
actually
a
had to
process.
deal with these exact same things here in the United States 4, 5, 6 years ago, where nobody believed anything, and that we were the crazy people completely. But now all of those crazy things that we said 4, 5, 6 years ago are actually all manifesting and coming true. And now those people are actually like waking up to the fact that it's like, how did you know all of this? And it's like, because this is the way it's been played out. And it took the time for people to experience these things. And one of the big things, just like Giannis just said, is that what has to happen and will happen is the mainstream media will actually have to begin to fall on its sword and actually report these things in which they have kept hidden on purpose, so that they will be the ones that actually do tell the people the things in which they have to hear, and that those are the ones that lied to them. This is what
Exactly.
is going to happen. This is what's happening here in America right now with CNN and with MSNBC, and we see it every day more and more. They're actually red pilling the shit out of people because of the fact that they have no choice. This is the
Correct.
way it has to
Correct.
happen. And we'll
I want
have
to add to that, Captain, if I could, that
Absolutely.
process that has been driven on the ground here in the United States of America would not have been as societally encompassing. In other words, it would not have been as effective at a mass scale had patriots like Giannis and Melina and others here in the United States not gone through that sort of gauntlet, not, pioneered that trail, for example, blazed it through the wooded area and the forest and shown a way. There has to be demonstrated that the people do have power, but the people can only have power if they're willing to look at those that are currently in power and say that you are not qualified or you're unfit, and I am the better choice on behalf of my people. And that's something that we're seeing now at every level. I'm seeing people that have that same sort of, almost patriotic, defiant spirit running for school board, for example. This is not a grandiose position, but it's a position in their communities here in the United States under our municipal system that has great effect at the local level, and it drives patterned change. And that's one of the things I think that we're sort of seeking to amplify today with Giannis's lawsuit. Is this is one of the vectors. This is one of the ways that pattern of change can be demonstrated in physical reality for the Grecian people, where they look up and they go, hey, we're tired of being overtaxed and living in the way that we've been living. These individuals are showing us a way that we can reclaim the power without having to shed blood to do so. Let's move and gravitate in that direction.
Correct. Yes, CaptKyle, before I just want to add something here. In the beginning of 2020, when the television told us that we don't have to go outside because of a virus, I left all my work and started searching. That's why I'm kind of in your position and left everything and started searching and digging the things to know what's happening. And as a journalist, I must share it to the public and say the truth, because we are going to lose lives. As we
Yes, Giannis did extensive research and came out with it in the beginning of 2020. And he saved a lot of lives because through him, people got informed, even in other countries.
Yeah, praise God. And that's really the thing in which we have to stand on, right? Is we put the truth out, we let the truth defend itself, and it will, but it's so much easier for a lie to spread than it is for else to just continue to go. And so it's it's easier for you to continue to manipulate the people than to allow the people to be told that they have been manipulated. That's the hard part, because then they have to accept the fact that I got took.
So we just want to, because as we know, in a recent year, we have been lying witnesses to the divine operation of dislocation, dismantling this very well-established complex, which composed of communist and evil organizations with the name of cabal, as we know. And this running through the earth for 1,000 years, so it's very difficult to fight them in all dimensions. So my solution, my idea on this is because of Donald Trump and all of this martial law with this, we need to fill documents, to fill every country, all the population as they can, lawsuits, to fill complaints, just to have it written down somewhere. We need to fill it. It's important. It's a message. It's not like straw man and whatever we say about the cooperation. It's very simple to make a complaint, to write a document, to fill a simple lawsuit and fill it to the court. It's a country's court.
Yeah. So we would like to encourage the people all over the world with a few words to do the same thing. So we have to refile this lawsuit. This is the one issue, and we would like to encourage people from all over the world to do the same thing. And Giannis can provide the evidence because he has collected it, plus the recent evidence. So whoever is interested can contact Giannis, and he will provide all his evidence. Most of it is in English anyways.
And all of this because we are living in a period that how we say the defined forces in cooperation with a post-violent civilization and even with the help of the real king, careful, real king of the earth is Donald Trump, and they're fighting for the total cleansing of the earth in all levels. So we need to help this fight. We are in purpose for this.
Yeah, and we're living through a period of time where accountability is coming. Yeah.
Yes.
And it's the right timing to do lawsuits and to step up and to step into our power and to demand our God-given right to live on this Eden earth freely, abundantly, and in peace.
Yes, because someday Space Force, for example, Space Force will come here and say and ask, "Do you want liberation?" And the Greek people say, "Oh no, I didn't do anything." So yes,
Yeah.
that's the problem. We please people to come to help us to not to be with their name on the lawsuit, just to help us with support, with sharing our lawsuit, whatever our articles, some financial help because all of this needs money. And when you don't have work, because all the government, of course, as we know that they take all my
His
property
income.
here, yes, my income and
They
everything.
have frozen his account.
Yes, we need some help just to be in the front line and fight. How we fight without food? No, this is this is the story here. But that's why we are trying through this show to if someone wants to help here or to have if someone wants some help to share the documents, the legal documents, of course, to share the information, or there are some scientists around the world to come with us to cooperate to make some bigger, to share more evidences and more and make them more believable to the people, because they say, "Nah, Yanis, who is Yanis? It's just a journalist. It's not a doctor. It's not a scientist. It's not some lawyer." Because here in Greece, people believe the lawyers and the sweet people, going to the shows. So that's the problem.
Have a question.
Of course.
As far as funding goes, looking in our chat here, I'm looking for a link so I can have it dropped into the description box. So if somebody wants to click that on and they want to donate to your cause, they can do that. Do we have that link available?
Yes, if people want to donate us, we can also to go into our site, sfagi.gr, and go to donations. Or in the last article with the lawsuit, there is a special link for only for this purpose. It's very easy. Very easy.
So yeah, I just want to make sure the audience can understand that.
Drop that in the link now.
Yes, it's okay.
Drop that link in the box. Excuse me. That's what I'm trying to say with that. And with respect to that, I do want to start moving into our closing segment if we could, just to be conscientious with everybody's time. Our guests are several hours ahead of Eastern time. They're probably looking to get a little bit of rest. First thing is I'd like to say class action lawsuits are very effective. There's an entity online that we all reference. I take a great deal of inspiration from that entity and the entire lens that I see the world with. And coming together as a movement of the people, that's an effective way to go about things. We really want just the template component, which I think is what Yanis is talking about. That's a lot of what he's worked on here. So I think it may very well be worth looking into for the audience out there. Some of those templates, depending on jurisdiction and laws, may be applicable in municipalities and localities where we are located currently, where we're located presently. And there's a great deal of things that are moving through international court systems that have shown effect, such as some of the cases out of El Salvador discussing the entirety of the nature of the COVID virus as being essentially a giant farce. With that being said, I want to ask Yanis and Melina directly to give us some closing thoughts and, again, remind us where they can go to with the website. I've dropped one of those links in the chat box for the folks out there following along live. And then I'd like to move into where people can find you, Captain, and you as well, Mr. McKay.
Yes, I just sent it to the chat here, the link. It's the
Yeah.
last article with the lawsuit. There is also inside the article a form just to take a participation with it, but this is not, it's okay. In below of the article, it's if you translate it in English, there's an IBAN of a link of a bank account and a Stripe account, Stripe link, and also for Greece. Okay, doesn't matter. But also inside, where I share, I upload my two court cases, the wins of the winning decision of my two court cases on this article, just for people to show that jurisdiction is correct, and we need to fill the correct documents with the correct ways. That's the main situation here. Melina, if you like to.
Yeah, in general, all the articles on Jan's website have those links, I think, and if somebody wants to donate, we would be very, very grateful to collect some money to refile the lawsuit, which is necessary, and we would be very happy if people contact us to cooperate and to share with them all the evidence and data we have, or if they have other ideas what we could do as well. And I just wanted to say that as we're going through this process, which is very, very important, because the process itself is a transformation, and we need this transformation process in order to become aware of who we really are. This is the important part of everything. And this process of working together, getting united, going through different phases and solving problems together is making us aware who we are as a human race and who we are as individuals, because we really have the power. And with that, I would like to thank everybody for your time and your audience, and hope to speak to you soon again. Thank you.
Well, it's
Phenomenal
good.
Closing thoughts. Oh, please go ahead, Mr. McKay.
Guys, just good to be here. I'm proud of what you guys are doing. I'm just proud that, there are people over there like you and around the world that are continue to fight, going up against great odds. But I know you have to see victory is in sight here. You got two court cases that you have now won. You set a precedent. You have shown people what can be done here in this fight. So I'm proud of what both of you have done.
And this, Scott, is very important cases, because this includes all the COVID restrictions, and also says inside that I sent those emails to the schools, to the police departments of Greece, and this confirms that. This is the main thing. And I can share it with it translated in English for the rest of the world to see what is exactly. It's very important for the people. Just to believe, look, we have justice. We have the courts. The courts is correct. It's okay, they're working. But the problem is the lawyers. The lawyers do the shit, the tricks. Yeah. Am I right, CaptKyle? So
indeed, a problem we will hopefully get addressed throughout this process.
And look, in this lawsuit, we have 4 things here. Wrong jurisdiction. They dismissed to deliver the lawsuit. Some people here, and we have another 2 errors, mistakes, but it cannot be from us. It's just only from lawyers, and lawyers need to know how to fill a lawsuit. Mm-hmm. And I'm now in the way. I'm waiting, ask excuses from how to say the apartment of the lawyers here to answer me in who is this mistake. It's on our side or the lawyer side. Just to have a written answer.
They will be accountable for it.
Yes, correct. Sorry about mine. It's okay. But I'm waiting answer. Okay, the lawsuit is going Okay, but rejected. But why? Let me told us. Answer to us. Why? Because here we feel this lawsuit about 70 people. They give money, they share their money, and they're waiting for justice. And 1 year and a half and more passes, and nothing happened. And then the lawsuit rejected, and then people said, "Oh, justice is corrupted. We don't have to do anything more. It's disappointed, lost time, lose time." That's why that is the war of cabal. They want us without money. They want us discouraged, and what else? And lost time to say we're bored. That's why we're here to say the people this message to keep fighting, because we need to fight. We are here to stand. And
Indeed.
Scott, thank you for. I just appreciate that what you did with the Patriot Street Fighter, your platform with changing the individuals' products and whatever there. And this is. Sorry, I forgot the name. You can say it. This is very, very good movement.
Yeah, yeah. Tactical civics has been a big
Tactical
one.
civics, correct.
Bringing back to county grand juries. SG's been involved in helping that come alive too. So that's an education as much as anything. As people, if we reestablished, or we have established chapters in over half the counties in this country at this point. Main thing is take us a little time to get to where we can start enacting things, but people are finally learning about what the Constitution allows, what the constitutional framework is to get justice against these criminals in government, in courts, and law enforcement, or wherever else they're lurking. So, it's just like what you guys are doing, pushing on things over there. Same thing. We just keep our hand on that, keep pushing forward, and little by little, more and more people join the fight, and they start to become educated. It's pretty encouraging to see. We've never seen anything like this in this country or the world, this move against the power structure. So nobody's turning around and going the other way now. That I can assure you. Everybody knows that this is in motion, and nobody's turning around saying, I'm out. Too hard. Now they're in retreat in many ways, and we're now being shown that we do have the power. It's just the people staying on the battlefield, continuing to push against this power structure. When it collapses, when it starts coming down, it's going to come down really fast.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
As we come into our time consideration here, needing to shuffle off of our cast today, Captain and Mr. McKay, where can the audience out there, if they're not already following along from your platform, where can they go and find you all?
Yeah, you can find us at patriotstreetfighter.com. Easiest way to jump on our Rumble, you can get to the Rumble channel and other channels. But if you want to jump right to Rumble, it's PSF for Patriot Street Fighter. All those Street Fighters, one word for trademark reasons. So psfrumble.com will land you right on our page to watch our work.
Yeah, right on. And you can pretty much find me on all platforms. It's CaptKyle Patriots, and it's Telegram, Rumble. About the only thing I'm not on is YouTube, X. I'm on, everywhere. And the deal with that is that you can actually go to Google, and straight from Google, it'll take you to my webpage. My webpage has all my links as well. And so there's a lot of frauds out there. And if they're not in the 100,000 range as far as people, then it's not me. Now, I don't have that many on Rumble, but even at that, 35, 40,000 people, the frauds don't have that. So you know that you're not on the right page, and they're only looking to befriend you so they can rip you off. And so with that, I appreciate all of you guys standing in the fight, because that's what this is all about. And we are almost at the end, and I commend each and every one of you, because we all have a part to play in this. And as long as we continue down the avenue that God has put us in, we will not fail.
Very well said. God bless everyone. Thank you for being here today. For the audience out there, you can look at the links in the chat box or in the description box below the video as the videos are published on the respective channels to learn more. Thank you very much, everyone, for helping facilitate this roundtable. Stay safe and well today. We the people do win. God bless.
Thank you so much. God bless.
God bless everybody.